Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Movin Hettiaranchi.
And I'm Sharon Masquinius. First, it's a look at the day's headlines.
Sri Lanka Navy to send a vessel for security in the Red Sea. Japanese Finance Minister to visit Sri Lanka on the 11th of this month. The TIN number is effective from the 1st of February. Tax evaders will be included in the tax net. Smoke from chlorine factory in Homagama. Residents in the area advised to wear face masks. Applications for the Asma second stage to be called in the first week of next month. Sheikh Hasina elected as the Prime Minister in Bangladesh for the fourth time. The President extends well wishes. Now on to those and more stories in detail. On today's top story, the 125th anniversary celebration of the YMBA in Columbo was held under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Bandaranaike International Conference Hall in Columbo yesterday.
Addressing the gathering, the President said everyone should move forward as one Sri Lankan nation, focusing on the future, not the present. The President highlighted the need for a program similar to the initiatives undertaken by the late Sir D.B. Jayatilaka, which played a crucial role in establishing a strong foundation in Sri Lanka across social, cultural, religious and educational aspects through citizen participation. The Columbo YMBA, founded under the chairmanship of Anagarika Dharmapalatuma on January 8, 1898, with Sir D.B. Jayatilaka and its founding chairman, stands as the oldest and largest Buddhist organization in the country, contributing significantly to Sri Lanka's broader mission. The theme of this year's anniversary event was Discourse for One Sri Lanka. During the commemorative ceremony, the President received the launch of a special issue marking the 125th anniversary, and he awarded scholarships to 10 university students. The President Wickremesinghe further said the Colombo Youth Buddhist Association has reached a significant milestone of 125 years since its inception. Undoubtedly, this association holds a pivotal place in Sri Lanka's history, as it emerged during a period when Christian youth societies were being established in the Western countries. In contrast, we during that time were actively involved in the Buddhist Renaissance. Visionary leaders such as Venerable Sri Sumangalathera of Hikkaduwa and the Colonel Henry Steele Olcott played key roles in spearheading the Buddhist Renaissance in our nation. It was against this backdrop that we initiated the world's first Young Men's Buddhist Association.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that if security is not provided to the goods and transport ships that come through the Red Sea harbour in Sri Lanka, including the Colombo port, will face many challenges. Such threat would cause huge economic loss to the country. President Wickremesinghe made these remarks when he met several ministers this morning. Minister Manusha Nanaikara, Harin Fernando and several others and parliamentarians were present at this meeting. The President further said that after Mahaparakrama Bahu era, this is the first time that Sri Lanka deploys Sri Lankan vessels for the security of international sea. The President emphasized that Sri Lankan warships will be sent to the Red Sea area not to support among states but to confirm the security of the ships that transport goods to Sri Lanka and other countries in the region. President pointed out that several other countries have also come forward to strengthen the security for goods transport vessels in the Red Sea area. Many good transport vessels are now sailing through the oil attacks made by Houthi fighters in Yemen. Taking such alternative routes would increase cargo transport fees. This may lead to increased prices of essential commodities imported to Sri Lanka. During the year 2022, people in Sri Lanka are waiting for fuel ships that would have arrived in the island. However, at present, Sri Lanka has become a country that has the power to deploy warships for the security of international sea. The President added that Sri Lanka has already agreed to send Sri Lankan Navy warships to the Red Sea to strengthen their security for good transport vessels.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs says that Japan's Minister of Finance Suzuki Tsuneki will undertake an official visit to Sri Lanka from the 11th to the 12th of January. During his visit, Japanese Finance Minister is scheduled to have official discussions with President Ranil Wickremesinghe and the Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri. Minister of Finance of Japan Suzuki Tsunuki and the delegation will visit Parliament, Jayawardena Centre and Sri Jayawardenapura Hospital and the Columbo Dockyard and the Colombo Nippon Biztech Institute in Maragama during their stay in Sri Lanka. Now, a special team of officials of the Central Environmental Authority has been directed to inspect the factory at Katuwanere in Homagama that exit toxic fumes since last night.
Fires erupted in this factory premises during the last few months. This is a chlorine manufacturing plant located in Katuwana Industrial Zone. Due to these toxic fumes emitting since last night have caused difficulty in breathing for residents living in the close proximity. A certain construction has been carried out within the factory premises recently. Following heavy rains experienced in the area yesterday, chlorine has mixed with the rainwater and started emitting fumes. Soon after, the incident was reported and fire engines and water bowsers belonging to Koti Municipal Council were sent to the location as a precautionary measure to face sudden fires or explosions. The toxic emission has been controlled to a certain extent by this noon. However, health authorities have informed the residents to wear face masks to prevent toxic inhalation.
Meanwhile, the government has decided to establish a special Asma Beneficiary unit in each divisional secretariat. This decision was taken as a special discussion held today at the Temple Trees under the patronage of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena regarding the implementation and updating of Asma Beneficiary scheme. It was decided to finalize the considering of all appeals made last year by the 31st of this month. They also propose to call new applications for the second stage of benefits by the first week of next month. A special officer will be appointed to each special Asma Beneficiary unit set up in the divisional secretariat level. State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe, Secretary to the Prime Minister Bandaranaike, Chief of the Presidential Staff Sagala Ratnayake and several others were present at this discussion.
Bangladesh's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has secured her fourth straight term in a controversial election. Hasina will serve another 5 years in office after her party, the Awami League, and his allies won 223 out of the 300 parliamentary seats contested. With the main opposition in Bangladesh Nationalist Party boycotting the polls, Ms. Hasina's party and allies are expected to win the remaining seats as well. The main opposition alleged that the poll was a fraud. Sunday's results come after mass arrests of BNP leaders and supporters. Official figures suggesting a lower vote turnout, about 40%, though the critics say those numbers may be inflated. In comparison, the last election in 2018 had a voter turnout of more than 80%. It's the fifth term in total for Hasina, who became Prime Minister in 1996 and was re-elected in 2009, remaining in power since. Awami League General Secretary Abdul Qadir told the reporters that Prime Minister Hasina had instructed party leaders and supporters not to hold victory processions or indulge in celebrations. Human Rights Watch estimates that nearly 10,000 activists were arrested after an opposition rally on the 28th October turned violent, resulting in the deaths of at least 16 people and injuring more than 5,500. It is accused the government of filling prisons with ruling Awami League political opponents. The Awami League has denied these accusations.
On behalf of the government and the people of Sri Lanka, President Ranil Wickremesinghe extended warmest congratulations and sincere best wishes to Bangladesh Prime Minister Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina on the victory of the Awami League under her visionary leadership in the recently concluded parliamentary elections and her re-election to the office of Prime Minister. Highlighting the close and friendly bilateral relations between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, President Wickremesinghe expressed his firm conviction that this multifaceted relationship will be further strengthened and consolidated in the years ahead during the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's tenure. In this regard, he extended an invitation for the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to undertake a visit to Sri Lanka at a mutually convenient date which could be agreed upon through diplomatic channels. President Wickremesinghe is confident that such a visit will significantly enhance the political and economic interaction between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, reinforcing existing ties for the mutual benefit for the two nations. President Wickremesinghe took this opportunity to recall with deep appreciation Hasina's personal intervention and the crucial support that the government of Bangladesh has been extending to Sri Lanka, particularly in the recent past. He acknowledged that this timely support would not have been possible without Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's personal involvement and genuine affection for Sri Lanka and its people. The President concluded the message by extending assurances of his highest consideration and the best wishes for Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's good health, happiness and personal well-being, as well as for the continued progress and prosperity of the people of Bangladesh. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siyambalapitiya says that individuals who have defaulted on tax payments must also have brought into the tax net. Sri Lanka has 1 million individuals with the financial capacity to pay an income tax of only 500,000, which are presently being this obligation. The Minister Siyambalapitiya stressed the importance of incorporating the remaining 500,000 tax evaders into the tax system with the goal of decreasing indirect taxes and increasing the direct tax rate. State Minister underscored that in developed nations, being a taxpayer is acknowledged as a sign of robust citizen actively contributing to the nation's stability. He also expressed optimism that the citizens of this country will undergo a positive shift in attitude, thereby fostering development within the nation. These remarks were revealed by State Minister for Finance, Mr. Ranjit Siyambalapitiya. Addressing the news conference at the Presidential Media Centre, the State Minister also announced that preparations are underway to commence the implementation of the TIN number from February 1st. He further said that at the end of 2019, the number of tax files stood at 1,705,233, which decreased to 437,547 by the end of 2022. However, with the new policies of our government, we have successfully increased the number of tax files to 1,002,029 by December 31st, 2023. Nevertheless, there is a need for further increase in that figure. Additionally, by the end of last year, the state revenue, which was 8% as a percentage of gross domestic product, has successfully increased by 10%.
Minister Dr. Bandulu Guruvardhana says that the fixed new service memorandum, which will not be changed in government changes, will be introduced to Sri Lanka Transport Board. The minister points out that this new service agenda will be introduced before the next Independence Day celebrations. The minister made these remarks participating in a ceremony organized to mark the 66th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Transport Board. It was held with the Medaravachi SLTB Regional Works premises. The former Transport Minister, late Maithripala Senanaike, who initiated the establishment of Sri Lanka Transport Board, was also commemorated at this ceremony. The Medaravachi worksite is named after late Minister Maithripala Senanaike. The relevant signboard unveiled by Prime Minister Dr. Bandulu Guruvardhana. Minister Bandulu Guruvardhana said that the new draft memorandum, duty list promotion transfers and all other duty conditions will be fixed before the next Independence Day. SLTB employees face many difficulties due to the delay of taking proper decisions at administrative levels. Some SLTB depots are still running at a loss. Therefore, we must all gather together to make the SLTB a profit-making body. The government granted 500 buses to the SLTB last year and helped repair 400 unfunctioning buses. Cabinet approval has already been granted to import 1,000 new buses within the next few months.
955 suspects have been taken into custody under the Operation Yukthiya within the last 24 hours ended in 12:30 early this morning. Police said that 39 suspects have been detained under detention order for further questioning. A raid was launched yesterday with the Maradana Police Division with the participation of 60 police and STF officers. 5 suspects under the narcotics drugs or charges were taken into custody. Acting IGP Deshabandhu Thenakon today inspected the vehicle seized by the police yesterday and the day before under the Yukthiya operation. The police said that these vehicles are amounting to a cost of 10.5 million rupees. Meetiyagoda police arrested a drug dealer named Yasura Pradeep alias Puncha with an ally of him at the Kalupe area in Hikkaduwa. Police have also found 5 milligrams of ice in their possession. Police has launched a program to check buses running along all routes of the island these days. Accordingly, the Gampa police searched the buses entered in the Gampa town and arrested 2 suspects who had cannabis and ice with them. A major accomplice of Notary's drug dealer and organised crime leader Pidalivatte Fizal has been taken into custody, as the police has also seized a stock of heroin worth 600,000 rupees in his possession.
The Cabinet approved the President Ranil Wickremesinghe's proposal to pay from January rupees 5,000 of the intended 10,000 rupee cost of living allowance scheduled to be paid from April as outlined in the Budget 2024 for the government employees. The Cabinet has approved this proposal to double the distribution, availability and transport allowance for doctors, raising it from 35,000 to 70,000. State Minister Sisira Jayakodi says that the President has agreed to allocate decentralised funds for all parliamentarians to implement the development projects in their respective areas. Parliamentarian Sanjeev Edrimanna says that salary increases given by the budget will be paid to public servants from April. Doctors, lecturers and other professionals will have financial benefits.
නියෝජනය කරන සියලු මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ට විමර්ශිත අරමුදල් සම්වර්ධන ව්‍යාපෘති සඳහා මුදල් වෙන් කරන බව කිව්වා. රජයේ සේවකයන්ට වැටුප් වැඩි වීම මම හිතන්නේ මේ ලබන සතිවල ඉඳන් වගේ. ලොකු මුදලින් රජයේ සේවකයන් සියලු දෙනාට වැටුප් වැඩි වෙනවා. ජනතාවට සහන දෙන එක ගැන තමයි මන්ත්‍රී රිලීම් කළේ.
අපි බජට් එකෙන් වැඩි කළ රාජ්‍ය සේවක පඩි වැඩි වීම අප්‍රේල් මාසයේ ඉඳලා ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්න තිබ්බේ. ඒක දැන් ඉඳලම රුපියල් 5000ක් දෙන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. ඒක ලොකු සහනයක් වෙයි. ඒ වගේම වෘත්තිකයන්ට, ඒ කියන්නේ වෛද්‍යවරුන්ට, විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ආචාර්යවරුන්ටත් විශේෂ මූල්‍යමය වරප්‍රසාදයක් ලැබෙනවා. ඒක මේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න වලට යම් සනසිල්ලක් වෙයි කියලා මම හිතනවා.
විශේෂයෙන්ම වැඩි අවධානයක්
State Minister Pyal Nishanta says that special attention was focused to solve problems pertaining to Asma Beneficiary scheme. He made the request to expedite development activities in the country and increase the allowance of 2,500 rupees paid for nursery teachers up to 5,000 rupees. The government expects to have a significant victory at the upcoming election and reduce the burden of the people. The 125th anniversary of the late Prime Minister SWRD Bandaranaike falls today. Late Prime Minister Bandaranaike is considered a leader who created a new era for the Sri Lankan people with the revolution in 1956. Floral tributes were made in front of the Bandaranaike statue at the Galle-Face Green this morning under the patronage of former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumartunga and Sunetra Bandaranaike. Chief Sanganaika and others observe religious observances. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, former President Maithripala Sirisena, several ministers, parliamentarians and members of the SLFP also made floral tributes to Bandaranaike's statue.
A ceremony was held in Trincomalee today to welcome the Thai Pongal festival.
Minister of State, Minister Finance Sheikh says that a draft bill of microfinance and credit regulatory authority will be presented in Parliament tomorrow. The aim of this bill is to regulate and streamline the services of microfinance companies functioning in the country. State Minister points out that this new bill will help to confirm the security of both customers and microfinance companies. These companies carry out their services especially targeting people at rural level. The new bill will help to control these companies with government intervention through regulatory authority. This can be preventing microfinance companies acting arbitrarily to exploit people in the rural level. The minister also pointed out that some microfinance companies are charging annually 300% interest rates charged on a daily basis. Many rural people and poor people have fallen victim to these companies. Some have even committed suicide as they had failed to pay back loans. Some families have been disintegrated due to the negative repercussions following the loans. The minister says that this bill will lead to streamlining the services of such companies. The existing Microfinance Act No. 6 of 2016 is by this new bill. We'll be back with foreign news after a short break.
Spicy fun vibe එක විවර කරන්න beat එක remake කරන්නට වෙන්න හදවත වවලා යන්න කින්දර fashion කරන්න fun උතුරන්න කොත්තමි kick එක මෙන්න TikTok viral යනවා නැතිල trending වෙනවා hot පහසක් පැවසෙනවා spicy රස වැටහෙනවා prima කොත්තමි fun තමයි.
Not foreign news. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Palestinians must not be pressured into leaving Gaza and must be allowed to return to their home once the conditions allow. Blinken condemned the statements by some Israeli ministers who called for the resettlement of Palestinians elsewhere. The U.S. official was in Qatar for his latest Middle East tour. His comments followed the reports that up to 70 people were killed in Jabalita refugee camp in northern Gaza. Footage from Jabalia showed their bodies lying in the rubble of a destroyed building, many of them women and children. A spokesperson for Israeli Defense Forces told the BBC that it acted against the military targets in the strike and that it was not aware of the number of casualties mentioned. More than 60 Palestinians were reportedly killed in the past day in southern city of Khan Yunis. Jabalia camp has been struck many times since Israel began its war against Hamas following the unprecedented attack by Hamas gunmen on southern Israel on 7th October. Some 1,200 people were killed, most of them civilians, and about 240 were taken hostage in the Hamas raid. More than 22,000 people, mostly women and children, have been killed in Gaza. According to the Hamas-run health ministry, it has been reported that at least 113 deaths over the last 24 hours of Israeli bombardment.
A criminal syndicate that planned to illegally export hundreds of native lizards from Australia to Hong Kong has been dismantled. The reptiles had an estimated market value of $1.2 million, according to New South Wales Police. 3 men and women have been arrested in Sydney. Some 257 lizards and 3 snakes were seized by the police after allegedly being kept in poor conditions. They have been treated and returned to the wild. Police set up a task force to investigate the alleged smugglers in September after 59 live lizards were intercepted in 9 small containers on their way to Hong Kong. Officers have conducted a series of raids in New South Wales in the past few weeks. At one home in Sydney, they seized 118 lizards, 3 snakes, 8 eggs and 25 dead lizards. A search of a property in the rural Greenfell turned up 4 lizards hidden in bags. The 4 suspects, all aged 31 to 59, have been charged with offences including exporting native reptiles, dealing with proceeds of crime and participating in a criminal group. If convicted, they face up to 15 years of prison.
Prima Kutumi, Fantamai.
Now on to sports news, we are looking at cricket. Currently, the ODI match between Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka is underway. Zimbabwe batted first and achieved a score of 208 runs. Currently, the Sri Lankan team is 110 for 5 after the end of 29 overs.
Winning the toss, Zimbabwe decided to bat first. Zimbabwean captain Greg Irvin scored 88 runs. It is his 20th half-century. Sri Lankan bowlers were able to claim the last 5 wickets of Zimbabwe teams, only for 26 runs. They were all out for 208 in 44.4 runs. Mahesh Theekshana claimed 4 wickets for 31 runs.
Inside edge, and it's been taken again, has it? Yes, it has. Swinging into the right-hander again, he's gone.
English News Telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.